Привет,
Привет,
друзьям,
друзьям
и добро
и добро
пожаловать обратно
пожаловать
в это Спартак.
в это Спартак.
Well, I think we can all agree that needs improving.
I thought that was pretty good.
Нет.
Okay, well let's do this my own way then. Здравствуйте, comrades. Welcome to the first ever, I was about to say welcome back, welcome to the first ever This is Spartak. Let's get cracking.
This is Spartak!
I thought Yorkshire were cold. Moscow's much colder. I got my scarf on, got my hat on. It's all good, but I'm very cold. Let's get on with it. Okay, guys, here we are. This is Spartak. I wonder when that's gonna get old. Hopefully not for a while, because we are gonna make many videos for this season. Remember, one season, we're going to live come every single match, and we're going to see if we can win the league for the first time in 14 seasons for Spartak Moscow. Once, well, the most successful team in Russia. If you don't know all that, go and have a look at the unveiling video. I'll probably change the title of that because, well, it's been unveiled. So there you go. But I thought before we jump into where I am now, currently, I loaded up the save from zero, Monday, midnight, 13th of June, 2016, before anything's been done. And I wanted to show you what state Spartak Moscow start on in the game. So if you were thinking you wanted to do it, this is what you'd be contending with, at least on this start. You can, of course, start in certain different points now because we're in, February 2017, really. So there are other options, but I wanted to start from the beginning of the pre-season, the beginning of the season. So that's where we are. So in this episode, basically, we're going to do meet the club and meet the league. So I'm going to show you a bit about the club's history, a bit of context, where you start as Spartak Moscow in the pre-season, as I've just said, what finance you got, what the team looks like, maybe a little bit. But obviously that's not the team we'll be setting out necessarily. And then we're also going to look at the end of this video as well, the league. So the Russian league, if you're not familiar with it, it gives some context. You'll know who are the big contenders, the title contenders with ourselves this season. We're going to look at Spartak Moscow and look at the league and get familiar. Because, to be honest, I'm not that familiar. So there we go. You see there, I'm called Dan Minsterman, and that is a shout out basically to my Minsterman. Minsterman? It's not actually called Minsterman, it's called the Minstermen Man. That's it. And series with York, obviously, but I thought I'd use that to just play in this game. Now, that's pretty good. Now, this is just the way I play the game. If I'm playing as a lower league side, non-league side, whoever I'm playing, I'll tick the box on both the coaching and the tactical that says suitable for this league. So when I started with York and I ticked it, it didn't give me great stats, and then I just took some away from certain things, put some on other things. I think I took some away from attacking coaching, put some on defending coaching, etc. Similarly, I've done that here. And so I ticked the box that said suitable for managing Spartak Moscow. And so it gave me the points there to divvy out, and I've divvied them out as such. I just think that it's a more realistic way to play the game. It's not realistic that Spartak Moscow would sign a manager that has threes in all those ratings. So I wanted to make it a little bit more realistic in that sense. So I hope you guys are with me on that. And so I've got 19 defenders, so I'm a defending coach, quite technical. But that's about it with coaching. I'm mostly about the tactics. I am a tactical genius. I've got an adaptability of 20 because I just thought I'm an English guy. It says I'm born in London. I'm not actually born in London. I have no idea how to change that. But I am an adaptability of 20, so I thought I needed that to do any good anyway in Russia. Determined, motivated, man management, all good. But player knowledge and things, I'll leave that to coaching staff and scouts, I thought, so I left that out. So we know the bit about the history. We know that, look at this, last season, 5th. Season before that, 6th. 6th again, 4th, 2nd, 4th, 2nd, 8th, 2nd, 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 8th, 10th in 2003. 10th for the most successful club after 3rd, and then their last victory, their last title win was in 2001. And then you see though, before that, absolutely fantastic in the 90s, and of course that's where I remember them from, the 90s. And I thought, well, I'd not really kept up with Russian football since then. So when I found out that Spartak they're not actually doing very well, I was really shocked, because I just remember them being this absolute just giant, basically, in Russia, just always winning the league, as you can see there. Before that, then, mixed, kind of got some firsts here, and then 15th, 14th, etc. So it is really mixed. I think this is the Soviet Union time. So they were competing with other clubs as well, not just Russian clubs at this point. There'll have been Red Star Belgrade in there as well, I would imagine, and probably some others. Not that spot on with my East European history. But anyway, you see there they were still winning right in the early days as well. So they are a very successful club indeed. So you see there, the media prediction at the beginning of the game is 3rd. We obviously want 1st, but it's 3rd. So, okay. So there are a couple others that are deemed better than us. That's doable then. We may win it. We're in the Euro Cup, or we're at least in the qualifying rounds for that. Fierce rivals are CSKA and Moscow, as you can imagine. Zenit, Dynamo Moscow, and Dynamo Kiev. And of course, that's back from the Soviet Union days where Dynamo Kiev were playing. And I think I said Red Star Belgrade. I think possibly them, but I'm not actually sure now. But Dynamo Kiev were definitely in that same. Dynamo Kiev were winning the Soviet Union Premier League. I don't know what it was called. Other rivals, Lokomotiv Moscow then, and Rubin. The finances are rich. Owner loves the club. £78 million estimated value. £12 average ticket price. Not bad at all, really. So the city is obviously Moscow. Capacity is 46,000, near enough 47,000 all-seater. It was built a couple of years back in 2014. Owned by the club owner. Good corporate facilities, so I'm guessing that's good money, good investment, good merchandising perhaps. Impressive training facilities, which is good. Excellent youth facilities. It's a shame we're only playing one season, isn't it? Because this looks like a club that we could really have some fun with the youngsters, but unfortunately we're not. So we need to focus on the short term in this one. Unless of course you guys really want me to carry on, then I might. A 5-year stadium sponsorship deal, 2.4 million per season, not too bad, but not great perhaps. Average junior coaching, so that perhaps could be better, and a well-established youth recruitment and good scouting as well, which I've seen previously. Affiliated clubs, nothing really to know, just some Russian, a couple of Spartak clubs and then just some more Russian clubs. I'm surprised the Brotherhood isn't on there, the likes of Red Star Belgrade and Olympiacos as well. They have some kind of connection. I don't know whether it's more of a corporate or merchandising connection, but it's not included in the game, which is slightly disappointing, perhaps. So you see there, 9 Russian Premier Divisions, 3 Russian Cups. We want the 10th. That's a good one, isn't it, as well? We're not only going to perhaps win the title for 14 seasons without winning it, but we're going to actually win the 10th Russian Premier Division title as well, hopefully. So that's a nice little story. Since the club is rich, let's hop in and look at the club finances. 52.7 million, that is not bad at all. It's not the best ever, it's not the Real Madrid, etc., but it isn't bad at all. I'm used to seeing less than 1 million, basically, based on my own saves, but that is not bad at all. How much do you get as transfer budget then? You get £861,000 transfer budget. Okay. I expected more, to be honest. When I saw that, I literally thought, I'm not going to enjoy this as much, but I'm used to spending very little. I'm used to working with a very tight budget. And I think that I'm not too fussed, therefore, with that. I indeed, I like that. I think when I have a bigger budget, maybe, in the past, maybe FM 2007 or something, I don't know what it was called. Football Manager 2000, around then, the older FMs, I might have played a top flight Premier League club, Arsenal, Liverpool are some of the ones I used to do. And I used to have a lot of money, and I just used to spend it willy-nilly. I honestly don't know how I would, if they'd have given me something like even 10 million, I'd have been like, I have no idea how to spend this money, because I'm probably going to waste it all. So on a tight budget, I hardly ever spend it. What I usually do is I usually just pump it all in the wages, and let's see if we can find some free transfers. Maybe I'll leave in, a few £100,000 just in case we need to spend it on the odds player, but I'm very happy to just not spend anything at all and see if we can bring in like that. And it's always worked for me. I start in the lower league management usually, and you've kind of got to do that. And I've had success doing it, and I'm comfortable doing it. I enjoy doing it. See, there we're second in the Russian Premier Division for physiotherapy, so everyone can have a massage. We are the best Russian team for judging players' ability and potential ability, so scouting. Like I say, I think we've got the best scouting network. We've got some great scouts, it seems. So that's all pretty good. Don't really need to do anything much with that. See, the training though is quite dire. 10th for goalkeeping training, 10th for defending. like 15th worst for attacking training. So, and the same for mentality and tactical coaching. So you really perhaps need to bring in coaches that would increase that. And I've tried to do that to some varying success. So that's just a heads up on that. So the weaknesses in the team report, I mean, he is all right. 1-on-1's 15, reflexes 14. Those are usually the two that I look at most. But you're probably saying you need some more, because apart from him, you really haven't got anybody. And the attack is quite similar also. Obviously, the transfer budget we've already highlighted is not great, and decision making is probably something you probably. So when I looked at this, when I saw decision making, I thought, okay, then I can't bring in youngsters, one, because this is a one season save, so I need short term gain basically, and youngsters aren't really great for decision making anyway. Generally speaking, you need experienced players. Because I've got a low transfer budget, I probably need free transfer experienced players. That's a clue for when I do show you the transfer business I have done for Spartak Moscow in the next episode. But there you go. Comment below if you think you know who I might have brought in. So you see squad depth then. I mean, this isn't the tactic that I'm going to be playing, but it just pops up because I think it's my favourite one, technically, on the profile. So you see that Rebrov is one of the best. Defence-wise isn't too bad, but probably need to improve on the wings. You've got the likes of Mauricio, who is on loan from, I think, Lazio or someone. Bochetti, Tasse? And even Putsko and Kutipov are okay. Fernando, good. Romelu, good. Glushakov is good. Zobnin even is decent as a ball-winning midfielder. Popov in the attack there, in that cam role. But apart from him, nobody. So probably bring someone there. Zeluiz, Quincy Promes is not too bad. He's the best finisher you've got at the club with 15, and he's the fastest striker you've got at the club with 6. He's actually quite a decent player. This Armenian guy, Yuri Movsisyan, he's our best striker. Good finishing, good pace, good anticipation, decent off the ball. He's good at taking penalties. I mean, he's a good player, £4.8 million. But there's a but. Can't use him. You can't use him. At the beginning of the game, he's on loan at Real Salt Lake, and you can't terminate the loan. He comes back in December of this year, 2016, so you will get him back, but you've got to think you probably need somebody to replace him at least until then. I'm not actually sure why he went on loan. I think it might be because he's not actually had a great performance for Spartak, especially recently. 3 goals in 11, 2 goals in 16 in the last 2 seasons, so maybe he wasn't happy or something. So anyway, he's been loaned out to America where he's doing very well. So it probably something to do with he just wasn't happy, maybe. Anyway, so that's it really. That's just a lowdown on how Spartak start. This isn't our side or our tactic that we'll be using. That'll be in the next episode where we'll be meeting the players and meeting the tactic and meeting my Spartak Moscow. But this one is just meeting Spartak Moscow more generally and indeed the league. So let's hop in. Okay, so here we go. The Russian league, 16 teams in the Russian league, 16 clubs. Title holders are CSKA. We'll hop into the past winners now. So CSKA, our rivals, of course, won last season. Runners-up was Rostov. So they had a really good season. Having finished 14th the season prior, they finished second. So some magic might have happened there. They've got insecure finances, so perhaps they overspent to gain success and they might come crashing down this season or next. Zenit was third. Zenit won it the year before that with CSKA in second. Krasnodar in third, and they are actually a club on the rise. Up until very recently, they were in the first division and indeed in the second division in 2008. They've risen up and not actually crashed down much. I mean, they finished third and then fourth, but they're a team on the rise, only founded in 2007, so definitely one to look out for. Indeed, they've got a bit of magic. They've actually got a YouTube channel, which I've checked out as well. So yeah, go check it out. I don't know why I've just said that. I mean, it's related in some way. CSK won it a couple before that with Zenit. Of course, Lokomotiv getting third there, which is a bit crazy because they don't usually do too well. You see they're 9th, 7th. They are a top half club, kind of sharing some success in a similar period to ourselves, Spartak, but more recently with 7th, 6ers lurking around that mid-table mark. Ruben, I've won it a couple of times most recently. Zenit, CSKA, Lokomotiv Moscow, took it off ourselves, it looks like. Spartak have come second 5 times in the last 14 seasons, so not too bad, but could definitely have done better. That's basically the past winners. So obviously the ones to look out for would definitely be CSKA Moscow and Zenit, I would throw in there Krasnodar and maybe Rostov if they've not crashed already. So you see there, Russian Premier Division is 7th in Europe, which is decent. It means that we can try and bring in some players, players from Belgian League, Ukrainian Premier League, Holland. They'll all be up for coming because it's a step up to them. And even some around even the Premier Division, especially the mid-table sides, might want to come to top flight Russian Premier League club just because that is kind of a step up, even though the Premier Division's technically higher. If you're not succeeding in the Premier Division with your club and you go to Russia where that club is succeeding, that's more like European football. It's more, it would be classed as a step up in some way. So around these, we could pick players up from clubs around these divisions as well, pretty easily, being Spartak in Russian Premier Division. So the rules then, I'm not going to obviously go through every single rule. There must be no more than 6 foreign players in the first 11. So you could have 20 foreign players registered, I think, but you can't be playing all of them. You can't have 11 foreign players in your lineup. You can't have more than 6, basically. So you can't have more than half players. I suppose 6 is more than half, but you can't have the vast majority of your players being foreign. I think all the rest of it is pretty standard. So we've got the largest stadium, the I really should be able to say this, Okrite. It doesn't sound very Russian to me, but anyhow, what do I know indeed? Krasnodar then, the new side, I've got quite a big stadium there, the Kuban. You see our rivals Zenit, CSKA, with very small stadiums, and they've been spending some massive money. So I don't know how, I think maybe Spartak Moscow might be maybe a bit more sensible about how they use their money, maybe a bit more like the likes of Arsenal, etc. Not really spending much money, but nevertheless quite a rich club on the whole. Hopefully we'll find success with them or help them find success. I think that's all we need to go through. So yeah, that is basically background into Spartak Moscow and how you start in the game, background into the Russian Premier League to give you some context, what we're doing and we're going to be up against, and we will be back in the second episode for basically meet the players I brought in, meet the formation, meet the tactics I'll be doing, and then we'll probably hop into our first live com as well. Okay guys, if you've enjoyed that, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new or not yet subscribed for more content, and to keep in touch with the Russian adventure. It's not even called the Russian adventure, it is called This Is Spartak! So yeah, give us a comment. Let me know if you've done a Russian save before. Perhaps it doesn't have to be Spartak. It could have been one of the others. How that went for you or how it's going for you. And no need to give us a league prediction as such because you've not seen who I've brought in. But please do comment who you think I might have brought in, given that clue earlier on in the video. All your support is much appreciated. Please share this. It's a new series. So all your support, big support, would be much appreciated in terms of likes, in terms of sharing it on the likes of Twitter and other social media, or just word of mouth to friends and people that you think are interested in this kind of content. That's all from me. I shall see you very soon. До свидания.